Kyle here from allmeterviews.blogspot.com. Here to talk about the series that I finally finished up with my wife. I actually watched the first two episodes a few months back. The show Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. With some notable guest appearances. Tina Fey probably being the biggest one. But you have some other people. You had the guy from The Daily Show. I can't even remember his name now. Made a guest. It was also on an episode of Better Call Saul. But anyway, Nathan Lane, of course, is in it. My internet is working somewhat here, but we watched it. I finally watched it with Roy Wood. That's his name. That was one of the best moments, just because my wife freaked out and see when he shows up randomly in an episode. All right, so the spoiler alert, of course. This is a review. It's been out since whatever it's been. It finished in September or something of last year. These three people live in this building in New York City. They're all fan of this something Oklahoma podcast. It's a murder mystery podcast. Then they're building there. They have to leave their apartment to go outside because someone pulled the fire alarm. They find out there has been a murder and everything like that. So and then the people in the building are involved. Sting is in it too, of course. It's a dramedy. It's probably like 70-30. 65. I'm trying to splitting hairs here. You don't take it too seriously for the most part. It's like Psych. Psych. I initially thought it was more like Dispatches from Elsewhere, the Jason Segel show from AMC a few years ago. And some of the elements are similar in that it's a bunch of people that don't know each other connect under some common activity or interest. And there's a lot of hidden mystery on their backgrounds that are involved that we don't find out right away. However, this is more comedic, more... I don't call it slapstick, but it's some of it's subtle humor at points. Some of it is a little preposterous, but anyway, it's 10 episodes. That was the first season. The second season's coming in June. Selena Gomez's character has a history with the person that's murdered, the guy Tim Kono. We don't realize right away. Tim Kono is in the elevator with her. I think with the three of them, actually, at the very beginning. But she has a history. They had a thing for the Hardy Boys back when she was younger, and she lives in her mom's own apartment to do her art and everything. Steve Martin is a, actor who is kind of out of work, I guess, for the most part. He was known for one role in the 90s, which was he's kind of living on the coattails of that role. And Martin Short is a stage director, most like a theater director, but he's also having financial problems, and but they all like this podcast, so they launched the podcast and they want to figure out how this guy got murdered, Tim Kono, and some interesting twists about could it be this, who done it, understanding the backgrounds of the people in the building's backgrounds. There's a cat that dies. The cat is involved. Has a similar poison to the guy Tim Kono that died. In its body when it was found. The owner of the cat, their motivation. And so you end up, thinking it's like Nathan Lane's in it. Nathan Lane and his son seem kind of suspicious, though Nathan Lane actually ends up funding their podcast financially at first because he worked with Martin Short's character. I should know their names now. The character's name, I should just... I'm bad about that. Martin Short's Oliver, and Nathan Lane is I don't know if they have him on here. Nathan Lane down on the list. Teddy Dumas. And you find out that his son is involved, but not really that responsible for a murder that happened 10 years earlier. It was a murder. The death really was a murder. Looked like a murder. Was charged as a murder 10 years before. And then there's Steve Martin's character plays, what's he playing? I forget now. What's he playing? Clarinet? Guitar? Steve Martin plays banjo in real life. I forget now. I should know this. He plays an instrument, and out of his window there's a woman he meets in the elevator that also plays bassoon. So he dates her, and her and some other people, like this guy that Selena Gomez's character, Maybell, yeah, knew, get involved with the podcast and trying to investigate this, which originally I thought was just a suicide, because there was a suicide note and everything given, but yeah, I mean the culprit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. The show this kind of resembles more so. I think I did a video on it because the final season is dead to me rather. I mean, it's not identical, but it's like a serious subject in a way, kind of serious subject, kind of make it somewhat lighthearted. But you're wondering about what could it be, could it not be? It couldn't be this person, maybe, that whodunit thing. But I like the way they twisted it and sort of had you doubting who ended up being guilty of the murder, and the way it was twisted with there's definitely loopholes, like the notes on the wall, like this woman that Steve Martin meets, who was she was in The Office. Is it Amy Ryan? I can't remember. It was a woman that was in The Office that plays the bassoon. She has a note on her door. We never really find out who put the note on her door because it doesn't make sense what you're kind of led to believe at the end. And then the final, finale, in the season finale, what happens is all three of them, the three in the podcast, end up getting arrested because they find one of the other women in the building, the woman who leads the sort of these meetings for these, forget her name. She ends up being found dead. So it's called Only Murders in the Building. So I don't know how many people actually that are not living in the building or be involved with someone living in the building wouldn't be involved, if not guilty of a crime, of a murder of kinds, only of the murder, be involved with the murder. I don't know. I think it's kind of limiting. I don't know if they're always going to do that, and how many seasons this will even go. Because at one point I actually was wondering if it might have been, is it Mabel's mother? Yeah, because these deaths were involving her friends, and she was thinking, you gotta get these people out of the way. The other thing I thought would have been the person who ends up being the guilty of the murder of Tim Kono. There was someone connected to them indirectly, shown in the last episode in the season finale, that could have easily been twisted as a motivation for the murder of Tim Kono because of Tim Kono's activities. I'm just not giving away the exact, not spoiling it completely. So, but we'll see what happens in the second season. I don't know. I mean, Dead to me is only going to be 3 seasons. The third season is supposed to be coming up. I would guess that this show may only go like 3 seasons too, because what are you going to keep doing? Having new people come in and get murdered? I mean, it's going to get kind of repetitive and old hat, unless they can introduce some sort of outside activities. But yeah, the one with Roy Wood, that was funny when they end up following Maybell to this, because Tim Kono was trying to, he was collecting he had all these rings inside these Hardy Boys books, and she had all these rings. She had to have them appraised. She had to meet at this, was it a jeweler? Someone who worked at a tattoo shop or something like that after they had gone to a gas station, and Roy Wood is there with his friend, and Martin Short's character, Oliver's car, ends up dying at the gas station, so they need a lift to follow Maybell, the car that Mabel's in, and Roy Wood happens to be. That's hilarious. And the two of them, the guy that drives the vehicle and Roy Wood, have a podcast together about, it's on not florist work, but landscaping, or it might have been on something to do with plants or something. It was just so banal and unexpected and unlikely, but it's that much more sort of out of nowhere funny. Yeah, I mean, I found it good. I found it pretty well written, the mystery part of it. I mean, again, it kind of channels Psych to it. I'd actually say this would be a good show for people that like Psych. Castle, some of those USA shows, to an extent, it does resemble, although the episodes are only 20-some-odd minutes, of course. And, Dead to Me, I mean, I get Dispatches from Elsewhere still has a little bit of that, but Dispatches Elsewhere is not about murders. It's more, not quite, actually. That's more kind of surrealism, art, mystery, in researching history. And while there's the researching history part of Only Murders in the Building is part of the plot and the story, I don't know, maybe that's what they'll end up doing, is they'll end up finding old murders, because they want to have their podcast gets momentum. Oh, that was another highlight to an extent. They had not only some the girlfriend, boyfriend, people involved at some point in the podcast or the second half of the season, but you had these fans that first they had 8 subscribers or whatever. And then they got these fans that were hanging outside the building. Those fans were pretty funny, actually. I don't relate to that, it's like my, I were to have my 15, regular viewers hanging outside my townhouse here, that would be a, art imitating life, similar relatable situation, but anyway. So yeah, I give it a thumbs up. I mean, was it my favorite show I've seen in the last year? No. But it's a show that was dealt while we're seeing it. I'm going to still watch. And, I like Steve Martin Short. Of course, you don't have Chevy Chase. You would have, but they haven't. Martin Short and Steve Martin have worked together. Besides on Three Amigos, of course, they worked together on Father of the Bride movies and some other stuff, I think. And so, Chevy Chase, unfortunately, his relationship with many people in Hollywood has been burned. Is not what it once was in the '80s or even early '90s. So I don't know if he'd ever have a chance. Maybe, I don't know. He's working too much now. Maybe that he could make a cameo. That'd be great. Great to see. But you could have like a Three Amigos reference in it. So. But yeah, and I think Selena Gomez got nominated, and some of the people got nominated for the Globes or SAG Awards, but she just got nominated for something else that Dule Hill's up for, like a Peabody Award of some kind. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe when the second season comes, if I have the chance, I have the time, I'll do a review once I see that. But hopefully I won't be waiting like 9 months after the show aired to do that on it's on Hulu. So. But thank you for watching. What do you think of Only Murders in the Building? Are you looking forward to season 2? Love to hear about that, and we'll see you next time.